Hello, and greetings to you all, wherever you may be. And thank you, as always, for your appreciation and help during my life as an actor. Many of you will be wondering why I'm wearing this hat. There is a very good reason. This hat was left to me in his will by my dear, dear friend, the late Vincent Price. He always wore it on Christmas Day, and so do I, and I have done for quite a few years. Maybe I've even done it on this program. There's one thing I'd like to mention. As you all know, the Wicker Man, which is described as the final cut, is now showing in the theatres and cinemas, and of course on DVD. This, in my opinion, and not just my opinion, but most people, and particularly critics, and above all, the audience, is one of the greatest British films ever made. It ranks within the top 10 of all time, and deservedly so. But there's one thing I'd like to mention, because it seldom is mentioned. This could not have been done, this film could not have been made if it had not been for one man who has never, in my opinion, received the approbation, the credit for the production of the film. The man who said, "Make the film," happened to be the head of British Lion at the time. So he was in a position to say yes or no, and he said yes. He also was a producer who don't seem to hear or read very much about him. But as far as I'm concerned, he is the man behind the film. And that is Peter Snell, who should really receive the credit for the film being made at all. As you all know, as the whole world knows, the first film of the new trilogy, The Hobbit, is out and has been out for quite some time with enormous success, as you would imagine. I'm in it with Galadriel, Elrond, and Gandalf. And the important thing to remember in this particular scene is that this is Saruman the good, the noble, the white, and the head of the clan of the wizards. The Istari is very important. It's 70, so more or less, years before The Lord of the Rings, during which time he changes, probably out of jealousy, because Gandalf already has one of the three rings. So it's extremely important for the audience to realize, and for me to get it over in what I did, that this is Saruman, the good and the wise. And everything he says and everything he does is for the right reasons. Now that is in the film The Hobbit. The second film, which is called The Desolation of Smaug, the dragon, is going to be shown. I'm not exactly sure of the dates. Sometime around 12th, 13th December, and there's a big premiere in Los Angeles and a big premiere in Berlin. I will not be going to either of the premieres for a very good reason. I'm not in the film at all. Not at all. I'm going to, please God, see it privately with Peter Jackson on the 11th. I'm sure it'll be brilliant. But it's nothing to do with me. The third and final film, which takes its title from the book that Bilbo originally wrote, is called There and Back Again. And in that film, which will come out December next year, and I hope I'm around to see that, there's a lot of me in it. A lot. Tremendous amount of fighting, swordplay, understanding, sympathy, kindness towards Galadriel, towards Gandalf. I'm not saying any more, because that would give the story away. But it's the third film in which I have the most to do. And I've done it. I just hope I'll see it. I know you will. You'll see this one comes out in December. As I said, you won't see me. And I would think almost all of you will see a third one in December 14. So I don't have to wish that it will be a success. I know these three films together, like The Lord of the Rings, A Fellowship of the Rings, of the Ring, the trilogy, which is now some years old, was a colossal hit all over the world, some billions of dollars. I'm quite certain that this trilogy, which is 70, 80 years earlier, and changes a lot of the characters, mine particularly, will be just as successful and a huge hit all over the world. Because, as I said many years ago, when I'd started to work in the first film. We were visited by the Warner Brothers executives, or maybe it was their plane. It was the New Line executives, and it was Bob Shea, the boss of New Line, who gave it the go-ahead. All credit to him. And I was having lunch, had a break. He came in, he sat down opposite me. He said, "I'm Bob Shea. I'm the head of New Line. We're making this film." Well, all of them. Now, you've made a lot of movies. You've worked with some great directors, some fine actors and actresses. I would like your honest opinion. I don't want you to say the right thing because it will please me, Bob Shea. I want you to tell me what you think from what you have seen and from what you have done. And I said, "Mr. Shea, with this trilogy, the first one, you are creating cinema history." And they have. And I firmly believe, of course I know the story of this trilogy, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, there and back again, because I have the scripts. So I know what happens. And if he asked me, or anybody else asked me, the same question, I would say the same thing. I would answer, and I would say, you are continuing to create cinema history. I sing another version. It's a bit more naughty. It's not bad. I mean bad in the sense of unpleasant. It's entertaining. It's certainly different.
Rushing as we go, and the hearse that knows the way to hell is painful and slow, crying all the day. The spirits awaken soon. Mournful is my plight. Darkness is a moon. Death embrace the night. Jingle.
And now in closing, of course, I wish you all a very happy Christmas. And for the sake of the world and those people in it, a safe new year in 2014.
Without exemption, I fly.